We are live. This begins the pre-meeting for the City Planning Commission hearing on August 10th, 2020. During the pre-meeting, the City Planning Commission and staff review cases. There's no participation by the applicants or the public. Following the conclusion of the pre-meeting, a public hearing will be held at 6 p.m. Here, all cases will be heard, applicants will present, and public comments submitted after staff reports will compiled will be read into the record. After the conclusion of the hearing, deliberations will follow, and the City Planning Commission will take action in cases that were heard at the public hearing. There is no participation by applicants or the public at the deliberations either. The first item on our pre-meeting agenda is a presentation from the Manager of Zoning and the Manager of Planning on the Zoning Alignment Project.
Thank you, Anna. So I'm Jill Wiedrich, I'm the Manager of Zoning, and here with me is Doreen Kirkmeyer, the Manager of Planning. And as I think everybody at this point knows, we, the City of Rochester, adopted a comprehensive plan, Rochester 2034, last November. And as we explained the process to you, from that, we develop a zoning code update. So we've begun that process, and we're here to basically update you on what we're doing, what we're thinking, and to kind of get your feelings on what we're doing so far. So we're calling ourselves right now the Zoning Alignment Project ZAP. Now, keep in mind, this will be a little bit of rebranding. It might not always be ZAP, but right now that's what we're going with. So it's easy to remember, right? So there are a number of goals that we're looking to do with the zoning code update. We're looking to align the zoning code and the map with Rochester 2034. As many of you are aware, there was an awesome placemaking plan that was associated with the comprehensive plan, and that's guiding much of what we're doing with the zoning map and the thought process that we're using for the zoning code update, along with the rest of the comprehensive plan. So we're modernizing the code to address emerging trends like energy and sustainability. We're making the code user-friendly through increased use of graphics and charts. As you know, our code right now does have a level of graphics and charts, but we want to increase that so it's more readable to the average person. We want to also reduce the inconsistencies with the building code and other city codes. We want to remove code language where another unit of government already has jurisdiction. So in some cases, it makes no sense for us to regulate things that are already being regulated by someone else. We're also trying to reduce the likelihood of variances. So, you know, one of the things that you can test a zoning code for is how many variances do you get? And from that, you need to adjust your zoning code. We're looking at historic data to see, okay, what were people applying for? And what does the comprehensive plan say about that? The alignment with Rochester 24 is actually codified in chapter 130. And I'm not going to read this to you because, you know, obviously you can take it and read it. We can provide you a copy of this. But basically what it says is that placemaking plan map guides the update of the zoning code. So there are items that have already been dealt with, and all the hard work, we're very lucky, has already been done with figuring out some of the difficult land use and zoning issues. So those will not be part of the scope of the zoning alignment project. We're not going to be revisiting those. What are we doing right now? Well, staff is really hard at work. We have a team made up of zoning folks and planning folks and a member of our law department. And we're going through and we're reviewing the code for alignment and update needs. One of the things I can say is that it has been tremendously exciting and rewarding to be part of this team. And the City of Rochester really has a great group of folks that are working on this. Our hope is to get a consultant on board by October. The zoning text alignment will happen first, with the map alignment following. We'll begin the stakeholder meetings in the fall of 2020. The map and text proposed amendments will have public meetings in late spring, early summer 2021. We're going to do the seeker general environmental impact approximately January 2021 and summer 2022. And we're hoping for council adoption by the end of 2022. So as you can see, we're really in it for the long haul. This is not a short project. You know, we're talking about 2 years here, but we're really condensing all the great work that we're doing in 2 years. So we do have an aggressive schedule, but we're very much committed to it.
Jill, I'd like to jump in here real quick on that slide. I just want to explain to people that the reason for the proposed end date of being 2022 is because of the community outreach that we're proposing. We have put a lot of time in the schedule for community input, community briefings, and so forth. So that's why it's taking a while for us to get it finished.
So what we're thinking right now is, how does CPC really fit into this entire picture? What role do you take on? We're thinking right now that the continuation of the CPC role will be in reviewing, commenting on, and recommending approval for the city. You already did this, the city's comprehensive plan, but we're thinking that you'll still continue that sort of role and as advisory for the entire process through a series of at least 7 meetings. So right now we're talking at least 3 briefings, which will happen in pre-meeting, and at least 4 informational meetings strategically scheduled at key points within the schedule. So what does that ensure? Well, it ensures regular check-in and feedback from the CPC, as well as regular opportunities for any interested community members to participate. It allows, as you guys know, for the community to come in and participate, to provide public feedback on a regular known schedule. As required by the city charter, the CPC will make a formal recommendation to city council about whether to approve the final updated zoning code and zoning map. So it's obviously critical that we have you involved through the entire process. So then why the CPC? Why are we thinking CPC at this point as the advisory body? Well, it takes advantage of an existing organizational structure that is already in place. And you guys are subject to New York State open meetings law. So that ensures that we've got everything happening out in the public. You have jurisdiction and authority with respect to the zoning code and map changes and the city's comprehensive plan. You already have training and working knowledge on a range of planning and zoning issues specific to Rochester's existing code. You're familiar with going through text amendments, zoning codes. You know what things have come before the board for special permits. You get a feel of what's going on in the city. You're demographically and geographically diverse, and you're all city residents. You're diverse in professional background and expertise, which is really important to ensure that we have a developed zoning code that's basically meeting the needs of the city as it continues to grow and meet those goals of 2034. And also at the same time, we're getting input from a large group of people, right? You guys are diverse. You have a lot of different backgrounds that you're coming from, a lot of work experiences, and that's going to help us build a better code. The diversity and professional background and expertise is key for us. And you also function as an independent board with members jointly appointed by the administration and city council. So at this point, we'd like to take any sort of questions or comments and kind of figure out what you're thinking and how you envision the zoning code update happening, and how do you feel about your role as potentially advisory in nature for this process?
And Jill, before I do that, I'd like to add a couple things. So in many zoning code updates or projects of this nature, you do create an advisory body that helps you go through a project like this and gives you input. And when we were thinking about how we wanted to construct that advisory body, we thought, well, wait a minute, why wouldn't we just use the Planning Commission? They already understand the comprehensive plan. They're very familiar with it. You guys have read it. You were part of the approval process. You have to be at the end of the process for zoning code because that's your authority. And you're already a diverse group that can help inform the process. So why not use this existing board as our advisory board rather than going out and trying to recreate something else to help advise this process as we move through it. And we already have built in, like Jill said, we have built-in points that the community can provide input, and also you can hear what the community is saying, which will help you in the long run in your role of advising us on whether to move forward with this project. So we really thought this was kind of a unique way of managing the community input process. And so we're proposing this as a way to go about it. We haven't gotten full approval yet from the administration. We're kind of vetting it through the administration right now. And now we're vetting it to you guys to kind of get your feedback on whether you think this is a good idea, and how excited you are to be so integrated into this process. Thank you.
I think it's great. I'm really excited. I think it's we've been kind of straddling these two elements for a minute, right? We know where we want to go. We're still stuck kind of on the old zoning code and all these things. Having a direct input on that in terms of Yeah, it all makes sense. I think we're boots on the ground in terms of interfacing with people regularly. We're talking to folks who come out and want to speak on cases every single month. So we've got our ears to the ground probably more than Joe Schmo walking down the street.
Right.
So yeah, it seems to make sense to me. And yeah, I for one am very excited to be participating in that.
Great.
Yeah, this is Carrie Carroll. I would completely agree. I mean, this is not a surprise. We've been talking about it for 6, 8, 12 months. So I'm excited that it's finally here. And you guys did such a remarkable job on 2034. I'm even more excited now because I have some sense of the enormous amount of work and input that goes into the process. So I know there's a few things that I'm hoping will come up that will be sort of, and by the way, we're doing this. And so I'm excited.
Great.
Well, I think that's one of the benefits is that because the comprehensive plan was so well done, it makes updating the zoning code just a little bit easier because we have definite goals on where the community wants to go. And the placemaking plan, which, it typically is called a future land use map. That is really the guiding document for us, and it's huge.
Yeah, I guess just for the record, I also agree with Carrie and Bradley. I think it's a great idea, and I mean, we all excited, so I think it's good. I just wanted to say that, but I think it's a good effort, and I think we have a great team to move forward.
Thank you.
Anyone else have some insight or have any questions about how this process is going to be?
It's Dave here. I too think that's a good idea. I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think it provides some continuity, some consistency, because we have some experience understanding about how the process works and what goes into it. And I think it'll make a valuable, continuation of that.
Thank you. So we have drafted a citizen participation plan for the project. And this is a big component of that citizen participation plan. And we're in the final stages of that draft. And once we get, now that, we're getting positive feedback from you guys and that you're interested and willing to be in this role, and we get it vetted through the administration. I know Commissioner of NBD is really supportive of this effort, of this idea. So once we get it all ready, all vetted and approved, and we're going to post it to our website. So we'll be creating a project website and we'll put it there. So, and we'll also get you guys a copy of it.
Yeah. In terms of land use, there are two really shining moments for us land use geeks, and it's the comprehensive plan and the zoning code update, and they don't happen often. So to be involved in both is historic.
I was, just a little story here, but I was involved in the 2003 code update for the zoning code. And we did it without a land use plan. The comprehensive plan back then was a policy document, and it had some very, sort of high level guidance on moving forward, but it did not have a strong land use component, even from a policy perspective, but it also did not have any kind of land use map like the placemaking plan. So I felt very strongly when we were doing the Rochester 2034 to do a pretty in-depth job with that aspect of the comprehensive plan, specifically because I know how hard it is to do a zoning code without that foundation. And so I feel good about the guidance and direction we're going to be able to take from that. And it also is going to alleviate a lot of a public debate around some of those high level land use issues that we've already gotten broad community support on, and council and mayoral support, and your support on those directives. So we're starting at a much better place this time of doing a comprehensive update of the code than we were for the 2003 code.
Any other questions, comments? Well, we won't take any more of your time. Thank you so much for allowing us to chat about this. And we look forward to you inviting us back several times over the course of the next 2 years. And I cannot wait to say we have an updated zoning code.
Thanks.
So I think our
Thank
plan
you.
is to, I think our plan is to be back in October to introduce you to the consultant team that will end up hiring. So we don't know who that is yet, specifically, but hopefully we'll know soon, and then we can share it with you guys. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. Alrighty, I'm gonna get us started since we have such a large agenda and we are doing seeker on one of the items. But the first order of business is that Richard is going to be recusing himself from case number 1. So we are going to hear that item last in the pre-meeting and then in the deliberations. So we'll do 2 through 6 first, and then 1 for both the pre-meeting and deliberations. The public hearing, everything will be in order as it is on the agenda. So here I am going to start with case number 2. This is a zoning map amendment. So you guys are making a recommendation to City Council. Does require your formal vote. The applicant is going from R2 to C2, R2 being medium density residential to community center commercial. The new C2 will connect with the C2 district that's existing north on Culver Road. Included in your attachments are all the permitted and specially permitted uses, as is the case with all the other zoning map amendments that are going before you this evening. You will see for this one that vehicle repair is part of the specially permitted uses in that new C2 district, meaning that if this project were approved, the applicant would be returning for a special permit to legalize their existing operation. Do you guys have any questions? Richard, you just got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm just, are they legal at this point? But when they do this, they're going to actually become not permitted or illegal for a while?
This is to this
Or are
the special permit that they would potentially be coming back for, that would be their legalizing permit. So that would be making
Okay.
that would be allowing for that.
But are they legal now?
What currently their use is not permitted in the R2 zoning district, no.
Oh, okay.
And are they a pre-existing use?
Yes. That
Okay,
might,
so they might be legal because they're pre-existing non-conforming use. They pre-existed the 2003 code.
yeah, maybe a good question for them would be how long they've been in operation for. I know that the business and at this location specifically. If there are no other questions, I'm going to zip right along so we can start at 6 p.m. The third case is another zoning map amendment. Do you guys have any questions on this one? Okay. The fourth case, you guys should be familiar with this project as a whole, as it was in front of you just recently for a zoning map amendment. Now it's come back to you for a special permit for an ancillary parking lot. So with that, we will be reviewing the sections of the code that this parking lot is not compliant with, and you'd be reviewing them and potentially waiving anything that you see fit. This next one is the one that we'll do seeker for. It's a specially permitted use in its zoning district. So in addition to the special permit standards, you are going to be reviewing the additional requirements that this use is subject to. There are a few things that are highlighted here that are not compliant that you will be evaluating. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull up our seeker form so we can all look at it together.
And Anna, is this case number 5?
Yes, we're on case number 5 already. I'm trying to move right along so we can be at our hearing in time. Alrighty. So as we've done in the past, can you guys see my screen at all?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So as we've done in the past, I've read the number and then you guys have taken a second to digest the information, and then you let me know if it's no or small impact may occur, or in some cases a moderate to large impact may occur. Oh, you know what? And then while I'm thinking about it, Dave, if you could help me out after this just to we can go over the site plan or the site visits, making sure everyone visited those site visits.
Okay,
I guess we can do that to the end since I breezed right over it initially. So if you guys are ready for number 1.
no,
Okay. Number 2.
no,
Great. Number 3, I'm seeing lots of shaking heads, so that's helpful. No.
No.
Number 4.
no,
No.
Number 5.
no,
No.
No.
Number 6.
No.
no,
No.
Number 7.
No.
no, for both?
Or A and B.
Thank you. And number 8.
No,
No.
Number 9.
no,
10
no,
No.
and 11.
no,
No.
All right. So it looks like the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. So what, Dave, I understand that you have one of these at home. So if you don't mind signing that and sending it in to me, and then I can sign the other sheet for
okay,
you.
I'll do that.
Great, thank you. All righty. While we're on this case, if you guys would just let me know whether or not you have visited this site. For those at home, it is a requirement that everyone drive around to get a contextual awareness of the proposed sites. So was everyone able to go to this one, 156 Ames?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Steve Rebholz, yes.
Yes, Milton.
Okay. Thank you all.
Dave Watson, I visited all the sites.
Okay, great. Thanks, Dave. So the last,
Just for the record, on case number 1, we have a business relationship with Edgemere. And in no way that will hinder me from making an objective decision on the case.
Henny, this is Tom Worth from the Law Department. The business relationship with Edgemere, does it have anything to do with the project that's proposed in case number 1?
No.
Okay.
did you guys have any questions about 156 Ames Street, case 5, before I move on to the next one?
Nope,
Okay. The next one is the case number 6, which is 854 South Clinton Avenue. This is a special permit for a parking lot. And it looks like we will, or you will be looking at a few things that are not code compliant with this project and just evaluating them to see if this works well with the proposed site plan. Just a little background information. This is ancillary to a 100-unit multifamily dwelling at 625 South Goodman. At the time that was constructed, they did not meet the required amount of parking for those units. The requirement is 104, not to exceed 114. Since then, they've asked for additional parking, which is why it's come before you now. Did everyone have a chance to visit this site?
yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. I'm looking all around the moving heads. And then if we could go over cases 2, 3, 4, just to see if you guys visited those sites too. If there is a site that you haven't visited, just let me know right now and then I can just make a note of that.
I've visited all the sites. So.
Okay, great. I know it's kind of a silly back and forth, but I do appreciate it. So if there aren't any questions about cases 2 through 6, you can ask them now, but if there are not, then we'll move along to case number 1.
Richard, can-
I'll check out here. When do you want me back at?
Yeah, 6 p.m. is when our hearings. Yep,
Okay, very good. See ya.
appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so this one is the first of our 3 zoning map amendments. They are proposing to go from low density residential to medium density residential. The proposed R2 district would connect to the R2 district on East Main Street. There are 8 properties included in this, 2 of which are multifamily and 2 are 2-family. The remaining 4 are single-family dwellings. In regards to the changes from R1 to R2, 2-family dwellings would then now be permitted. But that being said, any conversion from an existing 1-family to a 2-family would of course require a building permit and would be reviewed against the dwelling unit conversion standards of the zoning code. So with the new permitted uses, it's not going to be a straightforward, now you can do 2 families all over the place. There, it is subject to the building code review. Also, now multifamily dwellings would then become a specially permitted use, which means that this applicant could potentially return to the Planning Commission for a special permit requesting a multifamily dwelling. Were you guys all able to visit the site?
Yes.
Okay, just had to get that last one in there. Are there any things you guys wanted to discuss about this case?
Nope.
Maybe I was too efficient in my zipping through everything. There was like no conversation.
It just means everyone's very well prepared.
I appreciate that, Tom.
I think that's a testament to the good work you're doing, Anna.
I appreciate that, Joe, but I definitely owe it all to you for having passed the torch.
No, I guess the basic question that I have, and I think I know the answer, from R1 to R2 is basically the density issue, that they can't do what they want to do in an R1 because of the multiple dwellings.
Exactly, yeah. So what their vision for a project down the pike is a multi-family dwelling. I think it's like 2 multi-family dwellings. Let me read real quick. Yeah, they want to do 2 multi-family dwellings, and I think with a total of 17 units in them. They can't do that right now. If it were an R2, it would be a specially permitted use.
Okay.
So still have to go through site plan review, and then it would have to go through the Planning Commission process for review of a special permit.
Okay, yep, that answers my question. Thanks.
Yeah. And I believe on this one, we have 2 members of the public that have signed up to utilize our virtual hearing testimony portion. So in addition to the public comments that I'll be reading in the record, there will be some public participation.
That are non-applicants?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think, Dave, what we'll do is we'll have them speak and then I'll read the public comments afterwards.
Okay.
But if you guys would like, we can take a short recess until the hearing itself begins at 6 p.m. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All you have to do is just turn off your video and turn off your mics, and you can kind of keep the computer running if you'd like.
Super.
All right.
See you then.